here today, and thank you to MakerCon. And of course, it's a privilege to represent my company, Dremel. Before jumping in, I wanted to first take a poll. In this crowd, with a show of hands, how many of you know Dremel? Which is excellent, because we were told this was a very bright crowd. How many people in the crowd have used Dremels? Outstanding, creative as well. And finally, how many of you use Dremels either as part of a hobby regularly or as part of your job regularly? Outstanding, outstanding. So there was much work to do as I thought maybe, but I feel a lot more confident, so thanks for that. So the question might be asked, well, why is this old, iconic, branded company here, this big company, part of even a bigger company, whereas many of you might know we're part of Robert Bosch Tool Corporation, part of Bosch, invented for life Bosch, something we're very proud of. So why are we here? And first, let's take a look at why you probably do know us. And the tool behind me is the Dremel Rotary tool. And what's really cool about the Dremel Rotary tool, at least we think it's cool, is that it's actually used as an action verb. People will say, well, how do you fix that? Well, you go Dremel it off, Dremel it with this. And we find that to be very fascinating. But the presentation that I'm going to go through in the next 15 minutes, and I'm on a timer, so I have to go pretty quick, is not really about the product. It's certainly not about this product. I do want to talk a little bit about our history. Telling you about our history might give you a better idea as to why we're here and why this is such a great fit. But I want to talk about the history. More than anything, I want to talk about the people that really are behind the projects and the products themselves, how they affect what we do. And with that, and very importantly, we want to make a big announcement at the end on a new product extension that we're very excited about, and that'll be at the end of the presentation. But I think in talking about Dremel, I'd like to give you just a short history lesson. Albert J., or as affectionately known as A.J. Dremel, is our founder. Founded the company in 1932. This is he's a real maker. This is a mechanical engineer by trade, worked as a design engineer, was an inventor, came up with enough inventors to become a businessman, an entrepreneur, like many of you in this room. But at its base, he was a pragmatist, a businessman, and he was a simplifier of things. Tried to make things easier for the users. In 1932, when he founded the company, he founded it with an electric razor blade sharpener. He had 55 patents in all during the course of his lifetime, including the gas-powered lawnmower and a bunch of others. And some like the rotating fish scaler weren't as successful. But the razor blade sharpener was this is before disposable razor blades. And so very successful. It was so successful that it was so successful in saving money for people that it caused the big razor blade companies to cut their prices in half. And as the story goes, we brought them to their knees, and they quickly brought us to our knees as well. So there went the electric razor blade sharpener. So what AJ needed then was a new product to put behind his company. And the product he came out with in his most successful product was the Moto tool. And the product that stands behind product we have really introduced in about 1934. As all of you know, it's a lot of power and a very compact, versatile tool. And it was instantly received very well by craftsmen and hobbyists, and has been successful over the course of time. And you know, we can't use it in advertising, but it's been called the electric Swiss Army knife. It's the pocket machine shop, and it's a wonderful tradition that we have. But again, it's not about the tool. What we want to talk about are the 80 years of makers that have used this tool. And for us, people say, well, makers, what's your connection to makers? Well, Dremel tools are used by artists, architects, DIYers, engineers, hobbyists, students, moms, dads, teachers, remixers, prototypers, and they're all makers. And we've been involved with those people for over 80 years. And what's great about all these people is they've introduced us to so many very, very cool applications. From something that seems a little bit more simple and something we're very involved with, which is home repair and solving problems, which a very versatile tool like the Dremel tool can do, all the way to a portable, lightweight, very reliable, high-quality tool that could be used on a NASA space mission, and also in winning the war efforts. Also, as you see in the picture, often used in taking care of some of our most prized possessions. In this case, it seemed to have put the dog to sleep, but very often used with pet care as well. And finally, and what's coolest about it, I think, is that this is a tool that for many of us takes fantasy and imagination and vision and turns it into something much closer to reality. As you see here, you see Dremel tools in all prop masters tools, and so often used in Hollywood, as it was in Jurassic Park, Star Wars, etc. Again, very exciting. What do we do with all these ideas? Well, first of all, we learn from the makers. Most of our tools and accessories are developed with the information that we get in focus groups, workshops, things like that. So we develop based on the feedback. We observe, we listen, and we talk to the users. In this case, we do a lot of focus groups and workshops, and what we're always asking these questions is, how do we make it better? How do we make our tools better? And even more important, possibly, is what else can they do with this tool? And that's a question that we'll bring up a few times in just a few minutes. So we develop tools. And I'd like to say, well, anyone can come up with tools, but not anyone can come up with tools. We think we're pretty good at it, but it's more than the tools. We come up with tools that fit different applications, substrates, and things like that. And what you see here is a picture of tools that go beyond a rotary tool to meet different user and maker needs. And that's great. We produce these tools. We make high-quality tools. But what's really important, and we notice this when we have a Dremel tool in the market, you guys know what to do with a Dremel tool. Not everyone knows what to do with a Dremel tool. So what's very important is that we have to teach many people what the applications are. So we spend a lot of time inspiring people with the projects that they can use Dremel tools on. And this is a huge part of what we do, and it's necessary in our industry, and it's a big part of who we are. And in this case, we go beyond inspiration to educating. So we're not only telling them, hey, you can make these things, you can be this creative, look at this idea that this person had, but also you should use these accessories, these attachments to get the job done right. And finally, we put a lot of support into it as well, and we also at times will cheat a little bit, and we'll give them even more guidance with some of the products put out just specifically for applications, to get the tools in their hands, show them what they can be used for, give them the right accessories to educate them so that they start using our product. But again, it's a lot about inspiration and education. And in this case, you see some tools that are designed obviously for things like pumpkin carving and ornament creation and etching glass, but also for cleaning shoes. We've had kits for cleaning golf clubs. And the idea is to let people know what they can and should be doing with some of the tools. When asked about our product design, he said, well, where do people come into this? And we just put this real simple model together to take a look at kind of a people-first product design that we apply. When it comes to the product itself, we really want to make our products, and when you think of a Dremel tool, we want to make the products very approachable, very accessible, something that's not intimidating, something that's intuitive and easy to use, so automatically people aren't intimidated by it. After that, it goes to inspiring people with ideas on what they should be doing or could be doing with the tool. So a big part of it is inspiration. Beyond that, we don't want the users to get frustrated with a limited amount of application. We want the people to become expert in using Dremel tools. So further education goes into all of our products, and that's the education of people. And finally, and very importantly, we don't like people frustrated with our products once they've gotten into the marketplace. So we've always offered world-class product support. It's a hallmark of who we are, is being able to answer questions so that we avoid customer frustration. We keep them using our products and keep doing all kinds of great creative things. And our job is already cool enough because we work for a cool brand. We make power tools, which is, and we make people more innovative and creative. But beyond that, there's a greater purpose to what we do. And anyone who hears the stories about how my Dremel tool was passed on from my father, my grandfather, and I've used it since I was a kid, or I used it on these projects that mean so much to me growing up, can relate to the fact that we look at what we do as something that brings people together. So there's definitely a greater purpose. So when we go to work every day, we're pretty stoked about that. It's really exciting. And what do? We get that information, we work with these people, and for us, moving ahead, it's all about collaboration. And shared inspiration is what we call it. And we get the ideas, we collaborate with the makers. The shared inspiration is really what we think cultivates or ignites the passion and more invention. But it really comes from us meeting, discussing, and observing the users. And sometimes we push that inspiration out. Dremel Weekends is an example, something you'd find on our website or on a microsite that gives people weekly ideas on great creative things they can make using Dremel tools, using different materials. It's internally pushed, but it's very much appreciated by our users. It gives them new ideas, and also how to fix it ideas. With the onset of the internet, this has been wonderful for Dremel because it's afforded us the ability to put videos online and really be able to teach people. It's a big part of what we do. But most of the ideas really aren't ideas that we're pushing out into the marketplace, and even those ideas come from makers. The real creativity and the bulk of the ideas come from makers like yourselves. And again, thanks to online capabilities, this is much easier to do today, and all the different websites. This is becoming much easier and much more effective for us. But the other thing you notice in this picture is something other than just plain creativity, and it's something that's always been a big part of Dremel, is its personalization. Standardized products are great for selling mass production, but what you see here, and something we've always been involved with, is the ability to customize and personalize, and that's what makes it even more exciting. And so in listening to our users, they're always pushing us. They're always asking us what's next, or telling us what we need to fix on our existing products, and we listen. We're not the most vocal company, but we certainly listen. And in the last 2 years, we've been getting a lot of emails, Instagrams, tweets. When we go to trade shows, people have been asking us a lot of the same questions: is where are you guys on 3D technology? It seems like a perfect fit for you. We've looked at 3D technology, and how we've looked at it in the past is, well, we've seen it. People have been making parts that go on Dremel tools with 3D technology. They make some really cool things for Dremel complementary products. But we certainly know that people, they use it for friction welding, they use Dremel tools, and also to clean up prints, maybe prints that are undone or the raft needs to be cleaned off. So we know we've already been involved. But beyond that, we say, well, that's great. We might sell a few more Dremel tools. That's wonderful. But we really don't want our involvement. We think we can add a lot more to this industry. Based on our history, we can add a lot more. And we don't want to be part of just fixing problems and fixing prints that maybe weren't in a good file and maybe weren't printed properly. We'd rather be a part of the solution. We've always been a tool manufacturer. And so therefore, in looking at it, we decided to take a different path and really do something to create solutions for people, which is what we've always done. And so therefore, I'm very proud and excited to introduce the newest line extension that Dremel has, and announced today, and proud to announce the Dremel 3D Idea Builder. Again, another tool for inspiring and empowering users to do things that they probably wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Obviously, the 3D printing space fit in many ways. What we're introducing here very shortly, because this is not a sales pitch, although we would love everyone to come see us at Maker Faire, where we will have the printers running. This, we feel, is really the first 3D printer that's designed for everyone. We took into account to do with building our power tools. We wanted it to be approachable. We wanted it to be easy to use, simplified. We wanted to really put in the features that we feel mattered, especially to a novice user. We'd like to think that many of you people who are not novice users will find it a high quality, very good piece of equipment, designed very well, but it'll also be something that we can walk people through the process of 3D printing and keep them very engaged and interested and empowered so that they stay in 3D printing, which is very important to us. And one of the things we noticed as far as a gap in the industry is, and you hear it all the time, and everyone in the press will say the same thing when they're talking about a 3D printer, is what do I do with it? And just like with the Dremel Rotary tool, It's what do I use it for? So we have to inspire these people. And when it comes to content, I would argue that we all have a long way to go. We certainly have a long way to go. But we look at content maybe a little differently based on some of our users. We think that the 3D printed object certainly can be, it can be a fun product. It can be an artistic, creative product. It can stand alone. But it doesn't have to stand alone. It can certainly be a part of a bigger project itself. And that's what we've always looked. That's what we work with DIYers, hobbyists, people who fix things all the time. And we see, and it's going to come with time, and it's going to come with all the feedback from the makers. It's going to happen that 3D printing will find its space because of the creativity of the makers, the ideas coming in. Hopefully companies like us putting together models and content that people find attractive. They get into it, and they find it interesting. Our 3D printer, it comes with models that will get people into the business real quick. They'll be good at 3D printing to a certain point automatically. That's our goal. We also give fantastic product support. We're adding our product support that we have with Rotary tools to a 3D printer, which we think will go a long way to help. But the piece that we also wanted was the education piece. And we realized that for us to get into this business, we needed partners as well. And we partnered with Autodesk. With Autodesk, we have the ability to take someone who's now comfortable with a printer that's easy to use, but now we offer them free online, easy-to-use super software that then takes that user, and it takes them from using it from 2 weeks to 4 weeks to 6 weeks, 1 year, 2 years, and forever, because all of a sudden they become very adept at manipulating designs. And it takes them, it keeps them interested through further education. And as I mentioned, the fourth piece, which I don't have next, is just the support. We're there to help people. We have to guide them. We don't want people to be frustrated. But we're very excited about the ecosystem that we're building around the printer. People have asked, well, do you think that this is a disruptive technology? And we always hear, well, 3D printing is a disruptive technology. It certainly is as it concerns industrial 3D printing and production and mass customization and all that, which everyone's still trying to figure out. But for a personal 3D printer, we absolutely think it's disruptive. And this picture kind of tells it all. It's what got us excited, is seeing a 3D printer work for the first time. It's something we wanted to show people. We wanted to show, you're a unique audience. 99% of the people don't know what a 3D printer is and does. And when they see it, it's a magical experience. And with the help of doing a good job with support and partnering with Autodesk, we keep that magical experience going beyond just watching the 3D printer to actually creating things and designing things. And is it disruptive? If we have a new generation of people in the world who can create at such an early age these types of things, it's something that is going to change the world. And I think the real disruptive technology comes from these younger people, and of course all of us as well, being more creative and innovative in the future. And finally, I'm going to close because I'm done. But I wanted to wrap it up by saying, you know, some things have changed. The technology has certainly changed. It's changed for us. The people have changed. Innovation, creativity, and making has not changed. And we've always been a part of it. We want to remain a part of it. We're tremendously excited to be here. And again, we'd love for everyone to stop and see us at Maker Faire so we can show you the Idea Builder along with a couple other new Dremel products. And with that, I would just ask the Maker community to keep talking to us. We'll keep listening, keep sharing, and above all, our final message is we'd like everyone to build on. Thank you.